We're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Steve, if you'd open with a prayer for us. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, be with us today as we deliberate the business of the county. Help us, Lord, to just keep all of our residents, all of our taxpayers in our best interests, and hopefully that the commissioners today can reflect positively on you. Ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. All right, Tony, what do you have for us today?
I'll just
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me start with the minutes.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
I did go and correct one thing.
He did go ahead and update the minutes. There was one motion that he had listed as seconded by me, which was seconded by you, so.
It was a week before that he had seconded.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
so it was a weak second.
I'm fine. I'll make motion to approve. Second.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
I had handed out to you all just informational prior to the meeting, the balances of the health insurance and checking and reserve. Treasurer's office, our office are looking into whether or not we actually need two accounts for that. Shannon, I think you were part of that conversation as well. Jody Kinsey doesn't really know why we would have two separate accounts. It doesn't really help anything. But we are looking into that, and Jody is looking into that. So if we decide to change that into only checking, though there's no gains or anything by having one over the other, we might just need one account, which would actually, it would save a little time between the two offices and having to check and see what's in each one and have some moved over so that we have it in checking whenever we do our claims. It would just put it into one account. So that is on the table and being looked at, so it might look different in the future. Just informational.
Didn't we make a payment into that account out of the commissioner's budget? I pulled up the commissioner's budget and it doesn't show a payment out of there yet, but.
It may not show yet, but we did.
Okay,
Or it may be coming up or something soon, or maybe on this one for all I know.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Because it still shows $2 million in there.
Yeah, it should have already either been moved over or on the way of being moved over.
Gotcha. All right.
All right. Let me see here. First thing we have payroll claims. And the payroll claims are in the amount of $359,749.01. $359,749.01.
Okay.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion carries.
And then we have the payroll AP claims, which show all the benefits and so forth associated with the payroll. And that amount is $471,841.85, $471,841.85.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve the AP
I
side.
think every time state board comes, we have an extra payroll thing.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that.
Oh, okay.
All right, the next item is payroll time card approval. You all should have been emailed these to look at. But here are the physical payroll time card approvals of the department heads and so forth that you appoint.
Yep.
As state board directed.
Did you gentlemen have a chance to
Yes, I did.
look through those?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All right. Motion carries to approve time cards for appointed positions.
Okay. Then we have accounts payable claims. You all should also have received that via email. I'm thinking, Brad, there were some pretty good sizes in highway and some IT related, I believe, and the sheriff's department maybe had a Motorola payment or something. So there's a few good-sized claims in there. The amount of those accounts payable claims is $538,335.83, $538,335.83.
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries. On your asphalt material, Brad, you usually buy stone, or what do you buy in the fall? We've got 20,929 on that.
The asphalt materials was the fog seal, the black that was
Gotcha.
sprayed on the main roads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Then the K-Tech specialty coatings.
They're the ones that we use the oil for the chip seal itself.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good.
Okay, I think I stated to you last meeting or the one before regarding health insurance. We had some issues receiving those claims on time, in time for the Tuesday meetings. We also had not received, they missed a monthly claim payment as well. So we were emailing with Mike Olis at Allied, and he straightened things out at that end. I guess it was human error on their end, no big deal, but that should be fixed now. That is why on the Allied monthly claims, you are seeing 2 months worth for a total of $138,317.25. Ordinarily, it would have been around $69,000, $70,000. But this is for September and October because they had forgotten to send us 1 month, which if they would have forgotten forever, that would have been good. But I didn't want it to pop up a few months from now. So that is $138,317.25 on the monthly administrative and so forth.
Yeah, it shows the two.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
two
it has
separate
it.
sales.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on that?
Nope, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay. And then going along with what I just said, we did not get the weekly claims in time. Last time we have 2 weekly claims this time. The first one of those is in the amount of $60,812.59. And it looks like that is all medical. There were minor adjustments, but it's all medical. $68,812.59. And I also, as I always do now, signed that I verified they are our claimants. Because when State Board audits again, they'll have us call it up and make sure that I verified it. So $68,812.59 on that one.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other that just came today is in the amount of $10,222.38, $10,222.38. And that is also all medical. And it had $687.58 in voids or adjustments for the total of $10,222.38.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, the only other thing, I was hoping Mike Whirling would have stayed, but not a big deal. Mike, Ethan, Angie, and Amy from my office all went to Wells County. Their electronic mapping is up and running for plat book and stuff. And I know we've kind of have that straightened out for now, but with the difficulties we had in finding and getting all that worked out, which Mike is caught up now. At any rate, at some point down the line, I thought it was proactive for us to go over there, see how that's done, see what's involved. And at some point, I'd like to have Mike and Ethan just kind of come in and give you a technical update on what they saw. I do know It will require some scanning to be done to update the current books that we have. There were some other things, questions that those two had. I actually felt it was probably more important to send the two out of my office over there than me, because it could be that I will be termed out by the time that would ever come along. And those two are the ones that do a lot of the physical work associated with plat books along with Mike. So I'm going to put that on the radar to see if Mike and Ethan can come in and give you an update on what that looks like and what all would be involved for us to get to that point. Because Mike won't be around forever either. We may have to look at that in the future. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we are trying to be proactive and all that. And that is all that I have.
Mark, from a title company standpoint, are a lot of Mike's records still on paper, or how does that?
Plat books.
Plat book technically, yeah.
Yeah, those are important. I use them all the time. Plat books.
We have searchers over all the time. And actually, Mark can probably tell you, we get compliments on how well we keep that up. Not every county is that good at keeping it up. And so it's very worthwhile. And that's why we sent someone over there to see how it would look and what has to be done. And I can tell you over there, they call it area planning, but it would be like our building and planning. And area planning over there does a lot of this work. But they have more people, I think, in that office than we do here. So it's not something we can just do in a day, but I think it's something that needs to get on your all's radar so that if it ever comes to a point where we need to do it, we will know how, what it will cost, and what would need to happen. So.
Yeah, good. All righty. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Brad?
Good morning. Should be relatively short and sweet this morning.
Sir, as long as it's not a NIPSCO. It's a NIPSCO permit, we have to have a discussion.
A row permit.
Some issues?
No, no.
Okay, okay.
Put a little pressure on them. We need their help in another location in the county, and you have to put pressure where you have pressure, I guess.
Well, remind me of that sometime, and when I do come in, we'll have a discussion. All right, so we finally got our monthly draw for this month. For the month of September, the MVH, the amount is $295,358.43. $295,358.43. And if you notice, remember last month we talked about that, that's why August is always, this month it's back to about.
Well, we're still seeing a little bit of an increase, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. Yep. So on the backside is the local road and street. For the month of September, the draw was $48,820.30. $48,820.30.
All right, any questions or comments on that report?
Nope.
Accept the motion to enter that in the record.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right. Thank you.
So the only other couple things I have, there again, finishing our last round of mowing, they're out patching cracks. Hopefully here in a week or two, we're done with that, depending on the rain. A reminder, October 10th, I looked it up, Stan, we're opening bids for the vet equipment.
Oh,
October
okay.
10th,
All
so in
right.
2 weeks. And basically, business as usual, or, doing a few odds and ends in the fall here before we need everybody to do the berming and that, so.
Very good. Well, Roads look good. Anything else? Any comments or questions for Brad?
Oh.
while we're-
And we got those roads that we fog sealed, the striping company, was September 25th. It was after that date when they can start. And Decatur called me and said Decatur's having some striping done too, same company. So I'm hoping they get in here relatively soon and get on that.
Good.
So, sorry.
Just tell them that the county's more important than the city.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you, Brad.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, Rick, did you have anything?
Couple updates. The skylights came in last week for the roof
Hmm.
here at the complex. Got put on and stuff, so hopefully that project's completed. Went well.
Who are you trying to reach? You know
So that
which
was nothing
office?
that the roofers had to re-seal anything or anything like
Oh,
that?
okay,
Actually took the whole frame out and just how it's concurred up there, it just was just in and out.
Okay, good.
So that didn't,
okay. Yeah, it would
that's
be,
nothing up.
Yeah.
the phone number for the auditor's
And the
office,
inspection from
724-530.
Vendor that they
530.
went to, he came in and that's all done too, so,
Yeah,
Decent
530.
amounts more.
yeah.
Yep, but
The power, when we shut the power off last week, it was out for probably 2.5 hours. It went well. As well as to be expected. Everything worked as we have things functioning now with our old generator, so that went well.
No IT problems, nothing like that?
None that I heard of. The only thing it did is knock Tony's,
Yeah, we're all baking up there. We have no thermostat.
his thermostat. His thermostat is just kind of went black. It's just black.
It's all right, Tony. It didn't work anyway. It's just a dummy.
Yeah.
I think you all three went down, kind of seeing the progress that Service Electric was doing. It's hooked into the panel now, the main breakers, and that was the reason for the power, shutting the power off. Along with that, they did submit an invoice for what they have done now. If you remember, this project total was like 71. It's on here.
Okay.
So I guess I'm asking to request to pay this as of now.
Are you okay with this amount? Does it look appropriate?
Yeah.
Not getting ahead of the game or anything?
I met with Gene again this
Gene's
morning. Yeah. I put the fund on there. It's the generator ARP fund.
Okay.
Tony. And
So are we approving the whole 71.3 or are we just, because it says current payment due 45?
we're approving the, let me get my glasses, the 26,000.
Looks like they're requesting 45, right?
Yeah, yeah.
26.3 yet to complete, but request for this period is 45,000.
Yes, that's correct.
So make a motion to approve 45,000 to Service Electric.
Second.
Okay, motion carried. You good?
Yeah, Rick, you can actually go ahead and enter that into the claims because I'll have to put it into LAO once you do.
Okay.
But you can submit this invoice with a claim voucher and all. Okay. 10/11 should still be good if you want to do it for then. And I'll enter in the LAO.
Thank you. I did have a request from Marilyn over at Superior Court. She needs a chair. She was wondering if she could have one of those chairs down in the hallway. And I believe I would like one Eric sits.
Get one of these black ones.
I'm sure she'll take it. Hers is not working right, so she asked, and I said I would ask.
Yeah.
Those are what I call budget chairs.
That's,
I see Shambo showing up out here doing a little
Yeah,
work here on the
they're-
generator pad.
Yeah, they're basically coming in, scoping how they want to run things, measuring things off, so forth. We need to, they need to come and define where everything is located. So we went over that this morning, so they should be coming to locate gas line, everything, blah, blah, blah. So.
Good.
That should be, they're here.
Good,
Functioning,
yeah.
working. I don't know, I think I mentioned this to you, but I guess make this official. Out here where the wheelchair ramp access is for the gymnasium, there's 3 handicap spots there. Like to take up one with their trailer equipment. They have their equipment in there. It just sits right beside it. It's not hindering anybody to get up there. The sidewalk's not blocked, but they do need that space to set their trailer. So I'm asking permission.
I wonder if there's ever a time where all of those 3 spaces are full.
I think it's very rare,
Yeah,
and there's still 2.
yeah. Well, yeah, it makes sense as long as we're still providing that access. Yeah. Any word, I know when we talk on the security committee, we're still waiting on quotes from Mike Votaw, isn't it, for some of the security equipment and stuff. Any updates on like panic buttons and stuff? And seems like we've been waiting a long, long time. for
Yeah,
anything.
I'm not sure. Have you seen anything with that, Shannon?
We talked about in safety committee a couple weeks ago that we were gonna ask Sheriff Dan to head up that project. I had it on my list for last week when I sat down with him and we didn't get that far. So I still need to talk to him about it and just ask him to take that over for us.
Okay,
I have not stayed and heard anything.
all right. Yeah, that'd be nice if we could, I mean, it's just been so long,
That's
I've been
been
waiting.
quite some time.
Waiting for those quotes from him, and that's kind of what's
We
holding
all-
up some of the updates.
Right over there in the prosecuting attorney's office, that's been quite a while now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. Do you think Ed's coming down?
He is at the conference,
Oh, so he's not gonna,
unless he's going to report via remote from French Lick.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I doubt. He and Tom are down there.
and if we want to give Mark Wynn, maybe just give him a buzz and see whether he's out on inspections yet.
Let me email.
Played all night.
And then Nathan Shears.
It's 20 after 10, they're still.
I don't know. I'm not sure what Nathan wants to ask necessarily. Because they aren't in our county budget. They do their own, so I'm not sure if he's gonna ask for more out of seated or, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah, we just need to let him know that we're running low on our schedule,
I could try emailing him too.
so.
And Mark might know, Mark might have the answer to what Nathan is gonna ask.
What's that?
He wanted to get put on to discuss something. He was saying that they're busy and they need another person. But they're not in our budget
Nathan?
share for the sewer district. So I'm not sure what he would be asking unless it's not to take anything out of the seeded money that they currently get, the 60,000, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Guess we'll have to wait and find out.
It's news to me.
He just came over a day or two ago and asked Andrew to put him on.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I can have Bree try to call
Yeah,
Nathan.
because I looked, I don't have his number in here.
I don't know if Shannon and Mark have anything. Okay, Bree's gonna try to get hold of Nathan, and I emailed Mark Wynn, so we'll see
I'll text him.
We'll have a couple of rezonings that'll be on the, agenda for next week. So there were two rezoning hearings held by the Plan Commission on September the 21st, with recommendation for approval. One was out in Preble, and that was just a residential from R1 to R2, so that would be multi-family residential, and then the other one is up on no, the other one is on 300 West, just north of 250 South, and it's looks like it's a 2.5 acre, 2.5 acre tract, and they're wanting to, and it's recommended rezone from ag to C1, which is neighborhood commercial zone.
I forget how do we do those by ordinance or do we just a
Yep.
simple approval or?
Did that one get the one going the 2.5 acres from ag to C1, did they get that, land transferred because that got passed on condition that they got that land transferred?
I've got to check because it was in a trust, and then one of the guys, one of the trustees died. So, yeah, I've got that flagged because I've got to see if that was done.
That was a big discussion that.
Yeah, I looked it up on the GIS here, and the name doesn't match
Right.
necessarily.
That would be two separate
And they
ordinances.
said we wouldn't pass that until that's named, is changed.
And that was one on 300 West?
Yes.
250 South?
Yes, that
Mhm.
2.5 acres, yes.
So
Yeah,
do
no,
we,
it's two separate ordinances.
do we need to wait on both of them? Or,
Yeah, because I'll bring the ordinances. I got these from the Plan
You can
Commission.
sign the ordinances once you get to that. I'll give you the numbers that day
We'll bring those in
or
and
whatever.
but it needs to be on the agenda and then you can approve it.
Actually, those should be the next two ordinances that are up. I don't know what many other ones.
Probably will be.
They were trying to get a hold of Nathan and I emailed Mark, so
I asked him if he's coming in and he said yes, around the corner, so I don't know.
Which corner?
Which corner. So,
around the corner up by 9 Mile. Well, there's Nathan. There
Hey.
he is.
Man of the hour.
hey, yeah,
Yeah, Nathan, we're curious what you wanted to see the commissioners about.
we're waiting with bated breath.
Oh, sorry, I'm late.
No, you're not late at all. We're just running.
We had to get a hold of, we're just running early.
Yeah, we dealing with a grinder today, so. Just wanted to get with you guys. So the last previous years, we have come to you guys as a district to, we had a little umbrella that you guys were giving us $60,000 a year. Me and Jane, we went through our budget and stuff. Right now, we're not quite self-sufficient yet. So we still need that help. I know we have talked about each year trying to step down a little bit, but with the growth that we're going in the rapid time frame that we have done, I mean, we will be at 1,100 customers after this project is done. And the maintenance is really starting to kick up. We're starting to see some issues out from Project One stuff, which fortunately I have one of the sales reps coming out tomorrow to try to figure out one of those issues that we're having. And that's what we were working on actually this morning. So just wanted to get with you guys and make sure that that is still there for us or an option for us to continue with that, that funds that we're getting from the county to help us
That
out.
ordinance hasn't come before commissioners yet this year.
Okay.
Mark, so that would be another one that they will have to do. The ordinance for the seated.
That is one of the things that has been discussed is what to do with that seated a lot allocation, so. You know, I'm glad you came before us because, you know, in discussion, you know, we're still trying to decide what to do. So I don't know if, you have any thoughts on that as far as looking ahead? Or do you guys have any?
I think it would have to be included in the seeded funds, because that's.
That's where it's come from historically, yeah. Nathan, do you see, is there a, when can we begin to back that down?
Well, I mean, me and Jane, we were going through the budget from last year to this year and been trying to work on that. And I mean, everything just keeps going up, as we know, in everything that we do. We're trying to get a good grasp on getting the inventory in that we can with our SRF leftover funds to make sure that we can keep working towards building that inventory. But I mean, with two of us now, fuel on the road, that, I mean, you guys see it all the way through each department. The fuel prices keep going up. I mean, our service calls have been going up after our service calls. So that's fuel being used outside of your normal 8-hour workday. But to say that we're self-sufficient quite yet, it's not. I mean, we still need some help. But I'm hoping within the next couple of years, we can be sufficient there.
What if we began to back that down, say from 60,000 next year to 40,000, maybe 20,000 the following year, and maybe 0 the year after that?
I think I mean, anything's gonna help us right now until we get our feet on the ground and running. I mean, when we look at future projects, we really think that we have the big ones done. But that's not to say that we don't have, I mean, I bet we're getting 20 requests to connect a month with people outside of those areas coming to us and saying, can you get sewer to me? Can you get sewer to me? So the growth of the sewer district is always going to be there. But we've got to be able to manage what we have too. So I think, I mean, I'm not opposed to backing it down, but I would like for, I mean, I know Steve, you were on the sewer board for quite a few years and you did the budgets and stuff. I would love to see if you would be able to even look at it and see where we're sitting now. I mean, you have a good mindset already on what we have there and what we're progressing into also. So I would appreciate, be grateful if you could.
Be happy to take a look at it.
Yeah. And then that would give you guys, I mean, you could relay that and I'd be more than happy to come back in and sit down with you and go over that. But see where we're at and see where we need to be.
Just real quick math, you're up over at 1,100 connections. That's total revenue, 1.2 million. That's becoming quite a large enterprise there that you're managing.
Yes, and it's a lot going on. I mean, we're working on the Pleasantdale job right now. They're running a private sewer line almost 2 miles, and they're paying for that, but we're going to maintain that. They're going to hand that over to us. So that is, I mean, we're trying to make sure that we get everything right there. Out at Oakwood, we're getting that road done, getting the water lines put in. We got 2 more connections out there and we're done out there. I think we're roughly 20 to 25 connections yet out on Sunnybrook, that project. And Winchester project, we're looking, cross my fingers, knock on wood, mid-November. We'll be finishing that up and ready to start connecting out there. Underground out at Magley, they actually are pulling in today. They're going to start boring down 600. We are working on some things with them about the gravity along 224. We have ran into some hiccups out there with utilities. So it's something that we're still working with them on. And then Fleming, talked to them last week. They're hoping November start date. Just depends on what all we run into out at Oakwood and how fast they're getting the Whitman project done. So
How much work are you still doing for the county? I know I know I've seen your truck out at jail. I know you're still doing some things for us.
yeah,
I know
so
that was part of that collaboration that we
Absolutely.
built in the beginning.
so Mark Wynn actually came to me. I've been doing when he's off. I've been doing some building inspections for them. He actually got with me about Noah with his electrical background. If he's gone, he's going to be doing all the electrical inspections for him. And since Jessica's been out, I've been doing a lot of phone calls with contractors for septic systems and been trying to help Tara out as much as I can with questions and concerns she has with septic.
And I know you do a lot, the pump work out at the jail, still do
Yeah,
some work out there.
So
with
we
those.
just, we just replaced that pump a couple weeks ago. That pump was replaced, and I set all that up, got that pump ordered. We actually set the old pump in to try to see if we can get it rebuilt, to have a spare on hand. I coordinated that with Dan to make sure, because I mean, them pumps aren't cheap. There are some things out there that need to be addressed.
I think when we think about how the county helps the sewer district, I think it's important to hear that Nathan and his team are still providing that support too for building cleaning and for the jail out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and having the background at the health department too, that's been helping a lot with them. I mean, I probably get 5 phone calls a week, if not more, from contractors, questions about septic systems and things like that. So, and I've been staying up to speed with the new rules and regulations that are coming into place and trying to help out as much as I can there. So,
Well, I definitely appreciate you helping out with the sheriff's department especially.
Yeah.
But you're right, there's some things that I think he's got to do different out there at the
Yeah.
jail.
I mean,
But-
we had some issues out there getting them pumps out with the
Yeah.
baskets and all the trash being in that still. It's-
But the other thing is with Jess being out on emergency leave, you know, with Tara and Greg stepping up and you being able to step up and help
Yep.
cover while she's gone sooner than what she expected.
Yep.
To be on leave, so that's been huge to keep things going up there because their permits have not slowed down
No.
in the
no.
health department either.
And actually, I've been helping too with the state, with Joe Riccozzi coming in and helping. He's got questions and things like that. I've been kind of helping him out, and because he's only here on Thursdays. So and that's what a lot of the phone calls are. When can I get this done? When am I going to get my permit? I mean, it's like I'm right back at the health department again. So, but I have been looking at some of the, I mean, to just kind of give people a little information. Hey, your soil test does look all right. We're in a waiting time. I mean, we have to wait on the
Well,
state.
and it's always hard for homeowners and contractors both to think that their project is being held up because the paperwork's sitting on somebody's desk and not getting.
Well, the state rule says there's
So-
30 days to review. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I'm not being critical at
Yeah.
all. It's great to have everybody pitching in to continue.
and I also went down and sat with Holly and Tony about the, that new funds that you guys are getting.
Health First Indiana.
Yeah, on what some of the things are that the health department could use with that money. That's always something me and Jessica talked about when I was there. So I think it was helpful for them to know what the environmental side can use some of that money for.
I got that all submitted. Everything looks good on it, but I don't know when Jessica's getting back, but at some point you might need to also help on getting somebody instituted.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, I've got the people that we had already looked at purchasing some of that stuff. Go back to those individuals and say, hey, I need a new quote.
And you had to hit all the core services on there, and I think we hit,
Yeah, I think we hit them pretty good.
it's a 10%, 40%, 60% type of thing, and it all had to balance out, and they kind of brought it down to me and said, we don't know what we're doing, so. I called Nathan in and asked, because he and Jessica had talked quite a bit about it, and I think we're in pretty good shape on that.
That was kind of an 11th hour.
Yeah,
thing
it was,
to getting that done.
it got about, well, we have about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
To get that all.
So that wish list has good. I sat down with them and went through it and, I mean, got that needs and wants and.
It's touching on a lot of the core services that you heard about, when you've read about it in the papers and everything, where, the school liaison is one of them for Amish schools and all the schools. I mean, there's a lot of good benefits to it, some things that, like Nathan said,
well, my goodness, there's septic, there's food inspection, there's all kinds of stuff, but things that they, like you said, a wish list that, that money should be able to help them buy.
And some of these new guidelines and regulations that the state's putting out there, I mean, there's employee opportunities there for people to go out and make sure that things are still working properly.
Well, and the other thing that we threw on the health department at that time was the trash ordinance.
Yep.
The nuisance ordinance, and so that was additional work for both the health department and the sheriff's department both.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Vital records is another benefit. Maternal health, child health, immunizations, all kinds of, anything that was on that core list.
There's a big list.
Yeah. Well, the initial, cooperative partnership between the district and the county was a mutually beneficial arrangement. And it helped the district with necessary funds for startup and really getting off the ground. But it's also been beneficial to the county to have, those services available. And Nathan brings a unique set of experience to that and skill set. And so that's, I think, paid dividends for both the district and the county. It's probably going to be, right now, Project 5 is under construction, so we've got interim rates in effect on Project 5. Full rates have gone now on Project 4, so there's just one project that the district is not yet collecting full rates on, which is 5. And then once
Is
that's...
5 Winchester?
Yeah, that's part of Winchester. There's 200 connections on Project 5. That's Magley. We call it the Clems Lake South, so 224 going that way, and then the Winchester project.
Gotcha.
We have 200 more connections on those.
So those full rates won't come online until that project's done, and so that's going to be a little while.
So is that what brings you up to the 1,100 connections? That 200?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
with those additional 200.
Yeah, so we're not there
So
yet.
we're not quite there yet on
No.
those full rates.
And the district has never had a rate increase since 2016. And so it's still at 93.30. And they're probably going to need to, as the county decides to back down, any seeded funds for the district, then the district's going to have to increase a rate. Going to have a rate increase, probably at least 5%. 5% would generate, another 60,000 a year, which would essentially replace the city's or the county's seeded contribution.
And I know that's one of the things that the board has really been adamant on, is trying to make sure that those rates stay where we can. And that's like Mark just said, I mean, the 60,000 that we get from the county helps that out tremendously. I mean, we want to make sure our customers are happy, and you guys know when rates go up, then the phone calls start, the unhappy customers are, and I mean, we try to do our best with what we have, but we're hoping that we can be self-sufficient sooner than later, but I mean, we are where we are.
One of the things that I've always appreciated about the way the district is set up is that when they got the first USDA loans, they were required by the USDA to set aside a certain amount per connection for infrastructure, long-term maintenance. And so that money sets aside in a separate account for that long-term maintenance. There's there's miles and miles and miles of pipe and hundreds of pumps that are in the ground that are got to be maintained by the district. But there's also tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars setting aside in a maintenance reserve fund that is being added to every month by the district. So I think they're being very fiscally responsible with what they're doing, and so certainly my comment isn't a question at all about that fiscal responsibility. It's just I know that eventually I think we'd like to get out of that support role, but maybe we just need to wait until you bring all these 1,100 connections online and get to some kind of a stability. Since I've been associated with the district, there's always been a large construction project going on, so it's hard to kind of figure out where that operational stability number is, apart from the ongoing infrastructure construction and building there's always another project on board, so it's kind of a challenge, but anyway, I know what you're doing is good work, and I appreciate the district, I appreciate 1,100 homes that are no longer sending that septage into our creeks and our rivers and now it's going into a treatment facility, and I think that's just really good for our county.
And one thing too, I mean, I know we got that sign and everything. I've actually got reached out by NRCS about doing some testing before and after. And Winchester is one of those areas that we're actually testing the outfall of the group of homes there that all have those discharging systems. So I'm actually working with them right now on doing some construction going on now, testing to see where our levels have changed in the St. Mary's.
Good.
And I would imagine those are going to be very well taken for the government to look at. So, but yeah, and 1,100 customers in 8 years. So it's a lot of projects in a short amount of time.
Well, I don't remember if it was Mark that was telling us last week that there had been, of the number of permits that were pulled just because of the sewer, access to public sewer. So.
From our end or from the health department's end?
I'm pretty sure it was Mark that was telling us.
Yeah, looking at those new construction,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind
Oh,
of the
building
economic development
materials.
impact of
Right,
what
right.
having
Yeah.
sewer available out in our county,
Yeah.
the ability for developers and homes to come online and things that are just,
You just
that
go out
weren't
to
available.
900 and 000. How many houses have been built there in the last couple of years? I mean, it's crazy. And we're getting people all the time. I mean, I've got people with a 3-acre lot splitting it off 1 acre because sewer's right there. And with the county ordinance, the way it is, 2-acre minimum. Well, with sewer, you only have to have 1 acre minimum. So people are splitting those now and building on those parcels. And I mean, and what's nice there is 2 houses, 1 grinder. So it's getting 2 more people to hook up and I only have 1 thing to maintain.
Well, we'll definitely take that relationship seriously when we do our seated allocations.
Yes, I appreciate it.
So thanks for coming in
Yep.
and.
Thanks for your work.
Yep. Hey, thank you guys. Have a good day.
All right.
Someday you'll be as good as Mary.
Good too.
Mary.
See you, Noah. All right. Mark, did you want to come up? Well, I suppose. Mark, you will.
Want to?
Yeah.
Mark, you will.
Good question.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Have the judge issue a subpoena maybe.
So this is a single lot on 400 east, 200 south. They are simply dividing it up into 3 parcels. One obviously still has buildings on it, farthest to the south, and then 2 additional that could be built on. And
All that road frontage here.
It's done in the spring.
all I got.
But
This meeting was
I'm sure we can adjust it anytime.
All right, motion carries.
Well, it has to be done every 2 years. Yeah. So I'll have to look and
So that
see.
might be.
6.7 times 2 again.
Mhm.
Before we
But I'll look. It can be adjusted anytime. But the statute used to read, and I'll have to read it again, but it said every 2 years, you're supposed to update that plan. Yeah. So I'll look and see when the last time it was changed. Thank you. It might be, but we might be up for the 2 years, so I'll look.
I always thought that came around the first of the year, like
He
somewhere.
said it's every 2 years, and I'm
Right.
thinking we did it last year.
Right, I know it's every 2 years, but I always thought it was around the first of the year.
Yeah, I think we did it last year, so.
Did we already,
I think
if we
it's-
did it last year for 2 years, did we already drop that amount down?
I don't think we did. I think we
No.
kept it at 60
Did we?
thousand.
60 right
Okay.
now.
I think it's coming up in 24.
It could come up in around the spring of 24.
Good.
But like Mark said, you can change it anytime, but,
Yeah.
you know,
I think those guys I think they're doing great work.
All right, Shannon, did you have anything for us?
Yes. So a couple weeks back, we talked about ancillary benefits, and you guys approved Delta Dental as my carrier for both dental and vision. And then you asked me to get some more information about group term life and LTD with Lincoln Financial. And so I've worked on that, and I think we're in a good place where I'm still recommending that we maintain coverage with Lincoln Financial for group term life, long-term disability, and voluntary term life. So as long as you guys are okay with that, then I just need official approval on that vendor for 2024.
I guess I'd be in favor of continuing to offer that as a benefit for the employees, but I don't know. What do you guys?
Yeah, I'll make motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
And then the other thing that Tony Bree and I have been working on, Jody, our broker, is the Prudent RX program. So I sent you guys some information about that last week. It's a copay assistance program, and it would require some plan design changes for 2024, but it's a 90-day implement. So if you guys are interested for 1/1/24 start date, then we need to get that rolling. So do you have any questions about that, or?
I read through, and I guess I have not dealt with health insurance enough to understand that program. So I don't know, Steve probably.
I felt comfortable. I think it feels to me like something that's going to be beneficial to us. It's not necessarily going to negatively impact our employees. It's only going to impact a few employees, but I could see it being a pretty significant financial benefit to us. And I would make a motion to approve that change to our plan.
For effective date 1/1/24.
Yeah.
So that would not, I mean, it would be a voluntary sign-on for the employee, correct?
Yes, but there are
There would
drawbacks.
be negative repercussions if they
Correct.
didn't participate.
Employee not participating. And so the good thing about it is that both our previous broker, our current broker, and our TPA all recommended this program. So I'm confident that there's some hairs that are being crossed there.
Will there be additional cost to the employee?
No, there's actually going to be less cost. So the employee would have a $0 copay, assuming that they're awarded the copay assistance program for whatever medicine that they're on. And then the county would see significant savings from the manufacturers in form of like rebates essentially. And then the Prudent RX, the company, their fee is 25% of our savings is what it comes down to.
And if for some reason, as I read through the information, if for some reason the particular drug doesn't qualify or the situation doesn't qualify for the copay assistance, the employee still gets the beneficial copay level. So that, the employee isn't negatively impacted. As I read through it, it looked to me like the only negative impact that an employee could see would be if they of their own decision decided they did not want to participate in the copay program, then they would see a pretty significant increase in their copay.
Correct.
Because of the change in plan design.
Yeah, so the plan design has to say that we require a 30% copay on all prescription, specialty prescription medications through the county. And so that's what then triggers them being eligible for the copay assistance program, right? So we have to make an actual change to our plan that says, moving forward as of 1/1/24, we're going to require 30% of whatever the drug costs is the employee's responsibility, and it does not count towards their out-of-pocket max for the whole year.
And that's just for these specialty
That's
drugs.
just for the specialty drugs. That's not generics. That's not anything that's not on that list. And so what that does is that says to the manufacturers or the copay assistance companies, hey, this employee or this prescribee would have significant cost to them if we push this forward. So we're going to give them a rebate. We're going to give them assistance in the form of them discounting the drug significantly. And then we don't have to pay it. The employee doesn't have to pay it. And then Prudent RX gets 25% is what it is.
Mark, do you have thoughts on that?
No, I think that's fine. I mean, we know that our pharmacy cost is a huge portion of our cost.
And specialty drugs are a huge portion of the pharmacy cost. So
Exactly.
we're trying to work on that big dollar piece of that expense for us.
So we've got a motion from Steve. How do you feel?
Not sure, but
Uh,
I don't quite understand it, but I mean, if you guys are comfortable with it, I'll second that.
Okay, and I'd be, based on Steve's thoughts and your thoughts and recommendations, I would be in favor of that too, so. Yeah.
So we'll start working on that for 1/1/24.
And as a matter of fact, I think that's something that was started previously and then Jody carried it forward, or at least it was
I knew
recommended.
Elaine, we talked about, I heard discussion about it at the end of the year last year, before I was still sitting out there. I remember hearing discussion about it.
Yeah, that was the program that was suggested to us, like I mentioned, by our previous broker and our current TPA prior to Jody. So this is not the first time that this program has been brought to our attention. So it made me feel good knowing that two different individuals with no connection necessarily both recommended the same program.
And they're telling us to attack this particular piece of our expense profile. This is the best way to do that. And I just have to take their advice.
As we move into this, do we need to have a campaign with the employees so that they understand it
Absolutely.
and don't lose out? Yeah.
Absolutely. The education piece will come, and I say beauty, but the beauty of it is that on our expenditure for August of 22 to July of 23, it was a 12-month period. The top three spend for specialty prescription drugs for that year was only 6 individuals. So 50% of our drug spend was covered by 6 different people in the county. So it's going to be very easy for me to go and sit with those 6 individual people and say, this is what's happening. This is what's coming down the line. I'm here to help you if you have questions. But there's a whole education piece that comes with this too, from Prudent and from USI. So it's not just going to be me.
So
But
they'll help us with the.
But I'll be doing the relaying because they know who I am. They don't know who Prudent is. So yeah, I'm confident that we'll be able to explain it and be able to help them walk them through it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So my last thing is, last week I talked to you guys briefly about a CDL repayment agreement program. So we're talking about offering a program for individuals who want to work in either the highway department or surveyor department or any department that requires a CDL. And then they have to get one within 1 year of employment. So I drew up that agreement and I sent it over to attorneys, and I don't know if it was reviewed or not, but do you have any questions on that or anything else you'd like to see
Wait till
on that piece?
Mark gets a look at it. And
Yeah, I'll look at it.
I think that's where we want to go.
I'll bring it back next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mark, do you have anything for us today?
Not today. We'll have a couple ordinances next week. There's those, I've reviewed those, Tony, so.
So we'll see them next week.
Yep. Then we'll get the ordinances prepared. Got some questions here. I guess Mark Wynn's not here. I need to speak with him. So.
All right. Once again, I think we've seen good examples of cooperation between county departments, between the regional sewer district, between, other departments. And so that's always a real positive thing to see in Adams County. I'm glad for that. So, any other reports from committees or thoughts or questions?
Not for me.
Not that I can think of, Stan.
Anything from the general public? All right.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right, motion carries.